Okay, so I thought I'd do a quick build video for Gara because she's one of my favorite warframes. I'll start with the Archon shards. I'm using 4 duration shards, just regular ones. I might upgrade them to Tau Forge later, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm also using a Tau Forged parkour velocity shard just so I can go a little bit faster. With the build itself, I've replaced her third ability with Roar just to have a little bit of a damage bonus. For the aura, I'm using Energy Siphon to get some extra energy over time. You could use Corrosive Projection, but I don't think it's necessary. Prime Sure-Footed is just for the convenience because getting knocked down is really annoying. I'm using Overextended, Archon Stretch, and Augur Reach to have extra range for her 1. Really nice to have. You can hit the entire room with it. I'm using Equilibrium because this build can get a little energy hungry, and having the extra energy from health orbs is really nice. I'm using Primed Flow because it's going to give a big energy pool to hold all that energy that I'm getting from Equilibrium. Prime Continuity just to increase the duration of her 2 and Roar. Transient Fortitude and Umbral Intensify. They'll give you enough strength to have 90% damage reduction on her 2, and also counteract the negative strength on Overextended. For the Arcanes, I'm using Arcane Fury just for extra melee damage, and Molt Augmented because it's going to increase the damage of her 1 over time, and also increase the damage bonus from Roar over time. If you're new, you don't have the Prime mods, the Archon mods, or the Umbral mods, you can just use the regular version of these mods. If you're going to do that, you might as well drop Sure-Footed because you don't really need it. You can save a couple Forma with that build. For the primary, I'm using the Miter just for the augment because it instantly pops nullifier bubbles. You could use any high rate of fire gun. You just want to get rid of the nullifier bubbles because they're going to prevent you from hitting enemies with your 1. Your other gun and your melee weapon don't really matter, just use what you like. Focus School, I'm using Naramon with a power spike because it's going to prevent you from losing all of your combo all at once. Instead, it'll just kind of go down over time. It's really nice because this build requires a bit of a ramp up to get the damage going, and this prevents you from having to do that ramp up multiple times. And then for Shattered Lash, I'm using a pretty basic melee influence setup. If you're new to the game, you don't have the galvanized mods or the primed mods or melee influence, you can use this. This will get you through the star chart. It's still pretty good. It's not as good as the other one, but it will work. And then for the companion, I'm using Death Cube. Vaporize will take on the element of whatever weapon that Death Cube is using. So if you're using a weapon with electricity damage, it'll have electricity and it counts as an ability, so it will activate the energy generation effect of Archon Stretch. And since it lasts 10 seconds, and this happens every 10 seconds, you're going to have almost 100% uptime on that. Duplex Bond is going to create clones of Death Cube that'll fly around and shoot enemies. It's a little bit of extra damage, and it's going to generate extra energy. Synth Deconstruct is going to generate more health orbs that are going to give you more energy through equilibrium. And Energy Generator is going to drop an energy orb on top of you every now and then. With all of this going on, you shouldn't really have too many energy economy issues. For the Ver class, I'm just using this. It's, nothing special. Really, any weapon will work as long as it has electricity damage on it, but the Verglass is a really nice one to have. So I'll go ahead and spawn in some enemies here. You just cast Roar, and then spam your 1. And as your combo counter increases, your damage will also go up. If Eventually you'll get to the point where you can one-shot them. So yeah, it's the damage is really good. The survivability with her too is pretty good. I'll show that real quick. Yeah, you can stand still for a little while. As long as you're trying to stay alive, you shouldn't really have any problems. If you do stay still, you will eventually die, but yeah, just don't stand still and you'll be fine. But yeah, she's a great frame, does a lot of damage, she's pretty tanky. She does run into some survivability issues when you get into like the really high levels, you know, like 500 plus, I would say. But other than that, she's pretty tanky. She has good damage, she's great for new players. She's pretty good at Steel Path. She's a great frame.